my computer. Good morning. This
Good
is
morning.
Kara. This is Kara with Care Home Team Real Estate and Everything Real Estate. So today I have with me Chris Ekeler from Pillar Mortgage. They were Pillar Financial Mortgage, but have just recently changed to Pillar Mortgage. Welcome, Chris. If you could tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, Karen. Well, thanks for having me. I'm Chris Ekeler with Pillar Mortgage. Actually, it's Pillar Financial Mortgage, doing business as Pillar Mortgage. I am one of the partners now. I'm senior LO, and I've been doing this a long time. I've actually got to work with you for quite a while, which is great. I love working with you, Carol.
Yeah, it's hard to believe it's been 10 years that we've been working together.
We have.
So, but I appreciate it.
And it's been fun, and time has flown by.
Yes, it certainly has. So what are you planning to talk to us about today, Chris?
I just wanted to talk a little bit about is now the right, the question I get asked most is now the right time to buy? Should I buy now or should I wait later? What I tell all my clients is if you can afford it, now is the time to buy. We know statistically looking back, house prices don't drop. House prices continue to climb. They always will. Interest rates go up and down. I hear people all the time, well, my lender says I need to buy now and I can refi later. To me, that scares me because we don't know what the market's going to do. I tell my clients the big thing is if you can afford to buy, now is the time to buy. And rates over the last year have continued to go up. Do we expect that to keep happening? We don't. Feds say rates are going to drop a couple times this year, which would be great. But you can't count on that. You don't want to buy a house hoping rates are going to drop and that you can afford it down the road. So the key is if you can afford to buy, now is the time to buy. If you do the numbers, which I've done with many clients, I can just show you, you buy a $300,000 house today at 7% and you hope that they drop. Great. If they do, they do. If you can afford it, it's a win. If you wait just based on rates, that $300,000 house is probably going to be close to 315, 320 next year. And at 5%, you lost a ton of money. It would have been better to buy the year before when the rate was at 7%, because there's not a.
Is that because of appreciation that they would be better off?
Absolutely. Appreciation. The difference in rate is probably going to be $3,000 in a year is all. And so you would have lost the $10,000 to $13,000 right there in waiting. Plus you lost, like you said, the depreciation on top of it.
Right.
So you could lose $15,000, $18,000 by waiting. And worst case scenario, rates are at 9% next year. So you waited a year hoping rates would drop and they went up 2%.
And so did the price of the house still.
Exactly.
Yep.
So truly, the question is, are you in the right place? Do you have your down payment? Is your job secure? Is your credit good? If those things are all in check, now is the time to buy, without question.
So if they're just considering buying, is now the time before they say, yes, I'm definitely ready to buy, is now the time for them to come and get their pre-approval to know if they're really ready to buy or if there's something they need to work on?
Absolutely. I tell people the key is talk to your local lender, preferably me, but definitely talk to a local lender. Online, they're tough, the big online banks. I always say, find a local lender you trust, and talk to them. Get pre-approved. Let the lender tell you if you're in your right position. The lender is going to be honest with you and tell you where you're at, what you need to do, and most importantly, what can you afford. Just because you want a $400,000 house doesn't mean you can afford $400,000 house.
Right.
So the key is really to get with a lender, go over your finances, get pre-approved, see what you're pre-approved at. And if it's in your comfort zone, they'll tell you. There's Fannie and Freddie guidelines, and you have to be in a certain spot, and we can help you find out what that spot is. And that's
Very
really
good. So how does their credit score affect their interest rate?
Credit score. So rates depend a lot on your credit score. Almost, it's a big chunk, and they go in tiers. So the better the credit, the better the rate you're gonna get. So a lot of times too, with working with me, my clients, I try while they're looking for a home, once they're approved and say they're working with you, Care, I'm constantly looking at their credit because I want to increase their credit. And once we pull that credit report, we know what we can do. You know, sometimes we can jump you 5 points, 10 points, 50 points in a matter of from the time you were pre-approved to the time you get under contract. And that can
Really?
make, yeah, that can make a big difference.
Wow.
I've seen people go, you know, almost a 1/4% or half. I've seen 1/2% from the time they were approved that we were able to drop them by just doing a couple small things on their credit.
Excellent.
People don't realize credit plays the biggest role, and revolving credit is what pays the biggest role.
So the credit cards.
Credit cards, anything that's revolving, excuse me. When you have a car payment, you sign a contract that, you know, make that car payment. You don't get good points for doing what you're supposed to. But if you don't do it, you'll see your credit score drop. With revolving credit, I tell people, think of it as a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. And that's what revolving credit does for you. If you can keep your, like you said, credit cards, keep your credit cards at 30%, 30 to 40% at all times, you're going to be building your credit. Once you get over that 50%, it stays flat. And once you get over that 70% debt, it starts to bring you down again. So you constantly want to be using it. I tell people all the time, people ask me, well, or tell me, hey, Chris, I use my credit card and I might put 2,000 on it a month, but I pay it off every single month. That does nothing for your credit because you're not
Paying it off doesn't do anything for the credit.
It doesn't. It really, it flatlines you because you're not having any revolving. So you're using it no different than your debit card. So revolving credit, I always tell people to leave, you know, 5 to 15%, 30% on your credit card. Yes, you're paying that interest, but you're building your credit. Now, once you have your home and you have everything you need, then do that. That's fine if you want to pay it off every month, but always keep at least 1 or 2 that you're at 30%. You don't have to keep them all that way,
right?
But you do want to keep at least 1, if not 2, if you're wanting to build and bring your score up.
So during the time that somebody's looking for a home and under contract before they close, what are some of the things that they absolutely should not do to jeopardize their ability to close the loan?
Number 1 thing, quit your job. Had that happen.
They should quit their job or don't quit their job?
Should not quit their job.
Okay.
When you're working with me, I'll give you a list on your pre-approval of do's and don'ts. Once you're under contract or once you're approved, you really don't want to go buy a new car. You don't want to go, you want to live how you've been living. You don't want to make big changes. You don't want to switch jobs. You don't want to quit your job. You want to continue living the way you are.
So what happens if you're in a store buying a bunch of stuff and they offer you to open a new credit card because you'll get 20 or 30% off your purchase that day? Is that a good idea?
Definitely call your lender. It depends. It's based on client. It depends on where they're at and what their score is.
Okay.
I always tell them, do not open a new credit card because it will drop your credit without talking to your lender. If your lender already has you locked in somewhere, we can tell you.
Okay.
That or not. So that definitely is, whoever your local lender is, definitely ask them those questions before you do anything. What I tell my clients is I give them a do's and don'ts list, and then I tell them if they question something they're doing, then they need to talk to their lender.
Excellent. Yep.
But that's a good thing that you brought up, because I see a lot of clients get excited once they're under contract and they're out buying new furniture, buying these new things. And then all of a sudden it hits and you're not locked in yet. And that might take you from example, 6.5% rate down to, or up to a 6.75 because you did that.
How much on average does that 1/4% or 0.5% difference make in their monthly payment then?
That's a tough one to answer because it depends on the price of their home. But it could change their payment from anywhere from, $30 to $150, depending
Okay,
on the price point of the home. It will
right.
definitely change.
Okay. So at this time, what are some of the best loan programs that a person could use? So let's say do a first-time home buyer and then just somebody that has bought a house before.
First-time home buyers right now, there's FHA, which is a great option. It's a lower down payment for a first-time buyer who doesn't have a huge down payment saved up.
And how much is that down payment?
3.5% of the purchase price of the home.
Okay.
That is a really good one. We have another program. I don't know of anybody else in Nebraska that has the 1+ program at the moment that we have. And that is, it's 1% of the purchase price down payment. We get a grant to cover the other 2%. So it's actually a 3% conventional. So you're getting 2% grant money. And unlike the past where you had to stay in the house 7 years or 10 years, or you had to pay it back, it's not like that. It's a true 2% grant. They're giving it to you. And then on top of that, the MI, the mortgage insurance, is at a discounted rate through this program. Normal 3% is, say 30 to 40% MI, and this is like 25%. So it could drop your MI payment, say, from $130 a month down to like $60 a month. So it is a great first-time buyers program. But what's nice is people who have owned homes can use this program too. Second and third buyers.
Oh, really?
Yep. And if you second and third buyers that want to put more down, you can put up to 3% down instead of 1%, and then they'll still put that 2% down. So I have had some buyers that put 3% down and then take the 2% grant money, and then that will lower your MI, of course, because you put that extra 2% down.
Oh, okay.
But it is a great program for first-time buyers that they have great jobs, they're right out of college, or, they have really good jobs. They just haven't had that time to save up that down payment. It makes a lot of sense.
Is there an income limit on this one?
There is. It's 80% medium income, and the house has to be 350,000 or less.
Okay.
So it's really geared towards first-time buyers.
Yeah. But 350,000 still gets you a pretty good house today.
That gets you a beautiful home.
Yes.
And then you asked second and third time buyers, of course, the best program out there is conventional 20% down. If you have 20% to put down from the sale of your current house, or you've just been saving, if you have great credit, the conventional 20% down is a great product. Of course, VA, if you're VA eligible, Pillar, we are specialists at VA. It's our way of giving back to our vets, and we love working with our VA people. As you know, that's 0% down, no mortgage insurance, and they're assumable loans. So VA is probably, it is, in my opinion, the best loan out there if you're eligible.
So if somebody that's not normally eligible for a VA loan, would I be eligible to assume a VA loan?
No.
So only VA can assume a VA loan.
Correct.
Okay. very good. Because I've had people ask me that recently when they start seeing the assumable loans again.
Yeah, and you're gonna see a lot, we've seen a lot of that over the last year with
Mhm.
rates as high as 8%. People selling and you can assume that at 2.5, 3.5. Of course, that's the way to go.
Sure. Yeah, why not?
Mhm.
Does that process take longer than a normal loan closing?
It does. It does because let's say I have an approved buyer with you
Mm-hmm.
and you find them a home that's VA assumable and you want to take advantage of that, great. But what it does is it takes me out of the process. Whoever is holding that loan, unless it's us holding the loan, whoever is holding that loan on that house, your client now has to get pre-approved through that lender to buy that
Ah,
house. So essentially they have to get pre-approved.
okay.
They have to go through the process again to do that. So that does take longer. And then you
Sure.
have to go through all the VA guidelines. So it can add 15 to 30 days onto your close.
Okay. Are there FHA loans that are also assumable now?
Yes, you can assume an FHA, anybody can assume an FHA loan as long as they can get approved FHA.
Okay, very good. So what is the best thing that you see happening in the market today?
Right now, I tell my buyers, there's lots of reasons why now is a great time to buy. People get scared of rates. My biggest thing is I say, buy the house, marry the house, date the rate. Rates change, as we know, home prices don't. I mean, we've been working together in 10 years. Have you seen home prices go down?
No,
No, they
only
just,
if they're overpriced at the beginning.
correct, exactly. And that happened a lot in the last 5 years, as
Yeah,
we
and
we all know.
the last
It
year has been even more so.
Yeah, it's crazy the way that happens, but no, house prices continue to go up. Rates will always go up and down. They've been keeping, the feds have tracked mortgage rates since 1971. So you can go back as far as 1971 and you can see rates go up and down, up and down, up and down. Home prices only go up. Uh,
Hmm.
so I tell my clients, the key is, like I said earlier, if you can afford to buy, now's the time to buy. Right now with rates higher, the buyers, in my opinion, have a much easier, there's less competition out there because
Yep.
people are scared of rates. It gives you better negotiating power with the sellers. Um, Statistically, I mean, if you look at 22 versus 23, um, home sales dropped dramatically.
Hmm.
People got scared with rates. There's investors out there buying houses left and right because they know now's the time to buy.
Hmm.
So I think 23 had a record high investor buying throughout the US. It was up like 38, 39%. So
Yeah,
I always say, if you see investors buying, it's time to buy.
very good. Anything else that you want to let people know what they should look out for or something that they should do to prepare for buying a home?
Yeah. If you're even thinking about buying a home, definitely reach out to a local lender and let them guide you. Even if you're not planning on buying for a year, or you just don't know if you're ready, or you're just not sure, a lender can help you figure it all out and help you get ready. You may not be ready to buy, but you think you're gonna be ready in a year. Well, if you do everything the same, your credit's gonna be the same. And the year from now, you're not gonna be able to buy. But if you would have got with that local lender, they could have helped you get ready. Just by looking at your credit report, I can give you so many ideas of what to do to get you ready. And that's the key, is to get ready and put yourself in the right position. Save for a down payment.
Mhm.
I always tell my clients, they say, I want the lowest payment possible. Well, we all do. How do you get that? You have to put more money down.
Right.
So, so save. Uh, That's the key. Save, make sure your credit score is where you're at, and make sure you're secure in your employment. Those are the three keys to buying a house, in my opinion.
Yeah, those are important things.
And we can
Also,
help with that. And I tell you, when you have clients that are even considering, call me. Let's go
yep,
through it. It doesn't cost anything to get, that's a big notion out there. People think it costs to get pre-approved. It doesn't. Um, most local lenders, Pillar will being one of them, will definitely work with you and look at your credit and get you in the right position to buy. If you're not, we'll tell you, we're very transparent. We tell you, we don't sell you. We tell you the truth.
mhm.
And we can tell you if you're ready to buy. We can tell you how long. If you're not ready to buy today, it's 3 months from now. You're a year away. We can figure all that out sitting down with you.
Yep,
We call it discovery meeting, and it's for you to discover where you're at financially. Are you in the position to buy? Is now the time? Are you 3 months away? Are you 6 months away? And that's the key,
right.
is you need to be able to afford your home. You don't want to get into a home and be house poor. You and I have talked about that a lot in the
Yep.
past. Um, Pillar is very conservative. We want to help you put yourself and your family in the right position, because a lot of people don't realize it, but even your primary home is an investment.
Absolutely.
The key is, I teach all my clients, you want to buy right and you want to have an exit strategy. Whether it's 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, you want that exit strategy. And if
Right.
you're working with a good lender, they'll help you figure that out. A lot of clients don't even know what an exit strategy is when they first come to me.
No, they think they're going to live there forever.
Correct.
They don't stop and think about the fact that your family size may increase, it may decrease. You may realize that what you thought was the perfect house is not the perfect house.
Mm-hmm.
And so an exit strategy is very important.
It is. To me, it's as important as buying the house. Like
Right.
you said, I can't tell you how many clients have told me this is their forever house.
Yeah.
And then they're calling me 3 years later that they're selling and buying a new house.
Yep.
And I tell people that exit strategy is important.
Yeah. Well, it's still, with the market the way it is, it's still a good idea for especially first-time home buyers to start at the lower end and work their way up every couple of years, gaining
Absolutely.
equity, having more money to put down on the next house. And that way they're not getting into too big of a house or too big of a payment at the beginning.
Correct. And that's one thing I help with first-time buyers. First-time buyers always want what mom and dad have. They
Yep.
they want the big, beautiful house, and sometimes that's not where you need to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanna help educate my clients, our clients, so they know what they can afford and where they need to be.
Yeah. Very good.
They might be there 2 years, they might be there 3 years, and then move to the next level,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
and we can help them get ready for that.
Very good. Well, thanks so much for all the information. And
Absolutely.
all of you that are listening to this, Chris definitely does sit down and explain things. He's done that for us personally and most of my clients. So I would definitely suggest giving him a call. And Chris, what is the best number for them to call you at?
They can call me. My cell phone is 402-714-0889. And our office number is 402-592-6626. And
Okay.
I definitely I want to give a shout out to you, Care. I love working with you. You're one of my favorite people. You really take people personally and bring them into your family. And that's one thing I love about you. I also wanted to mention, Care and I do a ton of parties for our clients throughout the year. And
Yep.
I don't know an agent like Care out there that cares so much for her clients. So if you're looking at buying or selling, definitely give Care a call. And what is your number?
Thanks, Chris. My number is 402-798-4367. and you can call or text it.
Excellent.
So, and if you have any questions or any suggestions for topics for other episodes for us, please feel free to reach out and let us know what you'd like to know more about. Everybody have a wonderful new year.
Yes, thank you.
Yep. Thanks, Chris, for joining.
All right, have a great day.
All right. Bye.